most perfectly good excuse for why I acted at that moment. Because if I hadn't saved you, if your blood had been spilled there in front of me, I don't think I could have stopped myself from exposing us for what we are. But I only thought of that excuse later, at the time, and all I could think was not her. And he closed his eyes, lost in agonized confession. I love that. Number 9 is also in Twilight. It's when they're in the bio class and the movie's playing, and they're trying not to touch each other. And let's see here. The hours seemed very long. I couldn't concentrate on the movie. I didn't even know what subject it was on. I tried unsuccessfully to relax, but the electric current that seemed to be originating from somewhere in his body never slackened. Occasionally I would permit myself a quick glance in his direction, but he never seemed to relax either. The overpowering craving to touch him also refused to fade, and I crushed my fists safely against my ribs until my fingers were aching with the effort. I just love it. Yeah. So, number 8 is from New Moon, which again is my favorite, and pretty much my whole list is from New Moon. So, New Moon, when Bella hears Edward's voice for the first time, I love it. Let's see. So when she's outside the bar on the sidewalk coming from the movie, she hears, "Bella, stop this right now." My muscles locked into place, froze me where I stood, because it wasn't Jessica's voice that rebuked me now. It was a furious voice, a familiar voice, a beautiful voice. Soft like velvet, even though it was irate. It was his voice. I was exceptionally careful not to think his name, and I was surprised that the sound of it did not knock me to my knees, did not curl me onto the pavement in a torture of loss. There was no pain, none at all. In the instant that I heard his voice, everything was very clear, like my head had suddenly surfaced out of some dark pool. I was more aware of everything, sight, sound, the feel of the cold air that I hadn't noticed blowing sharply across my face, the smell coming from the open bar door. That's number 8. Number 7 is from Breaking Dawn. Obviously it's the honeymoon scene. Really my favorite line is when she's like, "Why do I have all these feathers? Why are the feathers everywhere?" He's like, "I bit a pillow or two." I love it. Number 6 is when, in New Moon, when Bella sees Carlisle's car in front of her house when she's coming back from Jake. I love that. Just because she's describing the car and she knows everything about the car, the interior of the car, everything about the car. I got so excited when she saw the car. It was amazing. Number 5 is also in New Moon. I know. It's when she's drowning, and I know it's sad, but I love it. I don't know. Let's see. He's like, oh, I love it. Okay, I saw him and I had no will to fight. It was so clear, so much more defined than any memory. My subconscious had stored Edward away in flawless detail, saving him for this final moment. I could see his perfect face as if he were really there, the exact shade of his icy skin, the shape of his lips, the line of his jaw, the gold glinting in his furious eyes. He was angry, naturally, that I was giving up. His teeth were clenched and his nostrils flared with rage. "No, Bella, no." My eyes were flooded with the freezing water, but his voice was clearer than ever. I ignored his words and concentrated on the sound of his voice. Why would I fight when I was so happy where I was? Even as my lungs burned for more air and my legs cramped in the icy cold, I was content. I had forgotten what real happiness felt like. Happiness that made the whole dying thing pretty bearable. So that is what I loved. She could die hearing his voice. That is so sweet. Anyway, number 4. I don't know if it was an eclipse or if it was in New Moon. I don't think it was a New Moon, but maybe. It's when she's talking to Jacob and she says, "It's always been him." I love that. Go Team Edward. Number 3 is also in New Moon, and it's when she's explaining, it's when Edward is explaining how hard it was for him to hear how easy it was for Bella to accept that he was leaving in the woods. He couldn't understand how easily she accepted it at that moment. He's like, I'm a good liar, Bella, I have to be. But still, for you to believe me so quickly, that was excruciating. I waited, still frozen. When we were in the forest, when I was telling you goodbye, you weren't going to let go. I could see that. I didn't want to do it. It felt like it would kill me to do it, but I knew that if I could convince you that I didn't love you anymore, it would just take you that much longer to get on with your life. I hope that if you thought I'd move on, so would you. And she was like, a clean break. Exactly, but I never imagined it would be so easy for you to do. I thought it would be next to impossible, that you would be so sure of the truth that I would have to lie through my teeth for hours to even plant that seed of doubt in your head. I lied, and I'm so sorry. Sorry because I hurt you. Sorry because it was a worthless effort. Sorry that I couldn't protect you from what I am. I lied to save you, and it didn't work. I'm sorry. And he's like, but how can you believe me after all the 1,000 times I've told you I love you? How can you let one word break your faith in me? I could see it in your eyes that you honestly believed that I didn't want you anymore. The most absurd, ridiculous concept, just as if there were any way that I could exist without needing you. I love it. If I'm reading so much, it's that it's more in your head when you hear it, I think. Number 2 is in Breaking Dawn, and it's when Bella sees Edward for the first time through vampire eyes. I love it. So real quick here, let's see. She's like seeing everything, and she says all this was a sideline. The greater part of my senses and my mind were still focused on Edward's face. I had never seen it before this second. How many times had I stared at Edward and marveled over his beauty? How many hours, days, weeks of my life had I spent dreaming about what I had then deemed to be perfection? I thought I'd known his face better than my own. I thought this was the one physical thing in my whole world, the flawlessness of Edward's face. I may as well have been blind. Oh, I love it. So yeah, they go on a kiss and all that fun stuff. Anyway, that's my favorite. Number 2. Number 1, which is obviously going to be a new moon. It's when Edward thinks he's dead, like after he steps into the sunlight and Bella knocks him over. It's when just how he thinks Bella is like an angel, and he realizes that he has a soul and that Carl is right, and Carl, sorry, was right. And I think I just love how he recites Romeo and Juliet. He says, Jess, that hath sucked the honey of thy breast, hath had no power yet upon thy beauty. And he says, he smells just exactly the same as always, so maybe this is hell. I don't care, I'll take it. She's like, I'm not dead, and neither are you. Please, Edward, we have to move. They can't be far away. I just love it, it is Friday. Woo! So, this week we're not going to have a guest vlogger on Sunday, but next week we should. So, wait till Monday to see Danny, and don't forget to sign up for twifans.com for a fun group, right?